I love all.
Welcome everyone to this Lunch and Learn, and we're delighted to welcome back Incling. And I don't think you've presented, but Inklings certainly have. Welcome, and over to you.
Brilliant. Yeah, thanks so much for the intro, Lucy. I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to share my screen here. Try and do this presenter view. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep, that's all good.
Infamous question always, isn't it? Brilliant. Yeah, thanks so much, Lucy. It's absolutely great to be here. You're totally right. It was my colleague Nick who presented, I think it was a couple years back now.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much for giving us the opportunity to host another Lunch and Learn session. We always find the ICG events to be very informative, interesting, but also fun. I know we went to, I think it was the Christmas party, and I still have my prize draw that I won from that Christmas raffle. So yeah, it's just great to be involved here. And of course, thanks everyone for coming to the session. It's my first time running a webinar session, so bear with me. Hopefully tech will behave itself and we can get through it all in one piece. I'm Anna. I'm a senior business development manager here at Incling. And actually, my market research career started at Incling nearly 10 years ago now. I started off as a community manager with very little knowledge of market research. And I've sort of worked my way through various different project management roles. I've been very fortunate to work on a wide range of different briefs and projects, everything from brand focused to exploratory pieces. Obviously, primarily online, but I've also done obviously interviews and focus groups. So a nice wide range of expertise. And it was during COVID that I moved to the commercial side of the business to try my hand at sales. And some of you I may have spoken with before. And basically, I'm the first point of call. So if you have any questions about Inkling, how we can support you, feel free to reach out to me. Right. I scanned over the list and I think I do recognize a few names here, but for those of you who haven't heard of Inkling or don't know much about us, I'll keep this intro quite brief, but we are a UK online qualitative platform provider. We were started by our founder, Juliette Pascal, well over a decade ago now. She was at the time working for a large global agency and saw the potential of online research. Back then, the technology was a bit slower, a bit clunkier, but what she saw is just a real opportunity to grow in this space and just saw how much there is there. Since those humble beginnings, we have continued to grow. We've doubled our team size. We continue to expand our toolkit offering. We've just fully embraced the digital first mentality. We are actually a fully remote team based up in Manchester, and most of the rest of my colleagues are in and around London. We have a few people in the Northwest, Scotland, and as well as continental Europe. So we really live and breathe that sort of remote lifestyle. And we're also in a very unique position to have our own proprietary platform that we maintain. We have our own in-house tech team. So we're kind of in control of our future, so to speak. And what it also allows us to do is listen to our clients when we create any new future developments. Despite our steady growth and our 10 years experience, we do still consider ourselves a boutique agency, as we do stay close to our clients, whether you use us for DIY or whether you use us for a fuller support solution. Our platform is translated into over 30 languages, and we continue to add as we grow. And we've run research across the globe with a wide range of freelancers, agencies, and brands. So we do work with a wide range of clients. So on to the subject. As you can tell, we are online research experts. It is our bread and butter, and we are very passionate about it. Yet something that we've experienced over the years, and despite online being a very established method, we still see hesitancy and resistance in this space. I just want to caveat before we deep dive into here, there are, of course, a wide variety of different methodologies to fit every type of, different brief that you have. It's true that online isn't always the answer to every single brief. What we really want to talk about here is more around resistance, even when you may have identified online as the preferred solution. There can still be hesitancy from either clients or particular stakeholders in going down the online route. And this is really what we want to explore today. The first barrier that I'd like to tackle, and one we've heard again many, many times, is this perception that online methodology lacks robustness. And it's not always seen as a viable method for an end client who has to convince their stakeholders that this is the right method and it will yield rich and robust results. This sort of legacy of online research, I feel like, has been marked as very basic capabilities and outputs with often an overly kind of technical look and feel. This could be both for participants and researchers alike. It's often associated with either online surveys or bulletin boards, or perhaps in the last few years with the pandemic, Zoom or Teams. And again, nothing wrong with running either of these methodologies. They're very, very important. But what we want to kind of emphasize is that these aren't the only methodologies that should be associated with online research. Even with the huge shift to online in the last few years, there still seems to be a lot of resistance to online, which often stems from, quite frankly, a lack of understanding of what is actually possible today. But we know that the online toolkit is a lot more robust than just a basic bulletin board. You can run a wide range of online research, from broader exploratory pieces, digital diaries, kind of cultural insight kind of pieces, to more focused customer journey research or UX testing, and much, much more, as you can see in this extensive list that we've pulled together. You can also run a wide range of fieldwork lengths for each of these. So it could be, a 2-3 day long community to much more robust, multi-phased or longitudinal projects. So what I thought might be quite helpful to kind of bring this to life is to go through a couple of projects that we've run recently on our platform that kind of show how versatile and creative teams can get when thinking about online research. So the first example is one of my favorites. This last summer, we ran a very exciting project with a UK agency where they needed to help understand the brand and experience post-purchase journey of electric vehicle owners. They had a handful of customers across a wide range of European markets, as you can see here. Initially, they were just considering interviews for this research, but when we had those kind of conversations about what they really wanted to get out of the research, and kind of paired with the client's limited budget, it was identified that it would benefit a lot more to have a multiple kind of touch point feedback on their experience, and just a slightly longer journey than a single session would allow. So after conversations around their objectives, we identified that an online approach would provide a cost-effective solution for their multi-market project. We had a wide range of tasks, including your discussion, collage tools, video tasks, as well as concept evaluation, to really help participants bring to life their daily highs and lows and vehicle experiences. The client was actually sourcing the participants from a list from their dealerships within those markets. So it wasn't kind of the standard recruitment process that we would kind of help with. It also meant that because they kind of slowly trickled in the participants, it also meant that we were able to be quite agile and provide a staggered launch approach. So we actually initially conducted UK, Netherlands, and Belgium, and then we followed up with the rest of the markets at a later date. This actually also allowed us to kind of fine-tune the guide because we staggered the approaches. So based on the feedback we received from the markets, we could make small tweaks for the later ones. And at the end of the day, the client was absolutely thrilled with the level of insight that they managed to receive. Or they praised the different task types that we had, as it really helped to unveil really interesting nuggets of insight. But online communities can also offer an agile approach and can be molded around the unique needs of a project brief that they might have. This means that you can easily combine multi-phased or mixed methodologies to understand a participant's top-line opinions, but also deep dive into further details. So the second example that I want to go through today kind of highlights that. So on this occasion, the client wanted to address a couple of different aspects around their alcohol brand that included kind of deep dive as well as some brand positioning. They wanted the flexibility to be able to kind of incorporate some of the findings and feedbacks from the first part of research before they kind of deep dived into the second half. So we started with the 5-day online community in the markets as shown on screen. And this really allowed us to uncover kind of current drinking behaviors and occasions, helped us identify the key functional, emotional needs of alcohol beverages and the brand, and also explore perceptions of them and their competitors in that space. We then followed up with two-hour focus groups with the same participants, which further built on the topics that we covered in the community. But it also allowed us to create some quick top-line stim, and we were able to gauge appeal of some of these initial innovations and how they kind of fit around the brand space. So here's another example of how robust online methodology can be, how you can mix and match across the different types to really build it around your brief. And this kind of leads us nicely into the second barrier that we've kind of identified and want to discuss. So almost as a part two to the first barrier, just as clients can have limited understanding of what's possible in the online space, they can also feel like the data doesn't quite go deep enough. And again, putting ourselves into their mindset, if your understanding of online is that it's used for, basic bulletin boards, you may feel that the associated output would also be fairly top line. But asynchronous qual research can actually, again, be pigeonholed into this belief that participants aren't going deep enough with what they share. It's all kind of question, answer, and feedback. This can be associated sometimes because it's not happening real time. So we have sometimes found that clients are kind of hesitant to not have that kind of real-time feedback and the real-time opportunity to kind of moderate as they go through the activity. But we really don't find this to be true at all. In fact, the feedback that we consistently receive from our clients is that they're impressed with the level of engagement and the level of insight shared by participants, rather than it being the other way around. So, in fact, there are actually a number of huge benefits that are being missed if you don't consider sort of the online. First and foremost, participants completing the research from the comforts of their own homes and environments means that they're able to be at ease and in a familiar surrounding, often, reflecting more accurately the sort of mental and physical state that they're in when capturing that data. So again, really great for those exploratory pieces where you want to capture behavior over a length of time. So it really gives you that kind of richness in the deep dives. Our platform is also browser-based, which means that participants can choose how they want to take part in the tasks. So long as they have an internet connection, they can take part, in a discussion, over lunch at work, or maybe they could do a diary post entry on their phone when they're out and about in the shop. So that really gives you that sort of flexibility to touch base with your participants across the length of time. We also have the ability to turn every task private. So you can kind of pick and choose if you're discussing a topic that is maybe in more of a sensitive nature, or make participants feel a bit more vulnerable. They can make them feel more at ease knowing that their opinions aren't being shared with the entire community. And we've actually done research as well for patient communities, or again, more sensitive subjects where the entire community is fully private. So people don't ever get to sort of interact with each other. So again, it allows you to have that kind of flexibility. Of course, as well, if you're running a community over a period of time, whether it's longitudinal or even if it's like, 5-7 days, a couple weeks long, it also allows participants to kind of ruminate on the subject and dig deeper into their understanding. And it's actually really cool to see, even as a moderator, if you go through the data, initially they might have a very top line thoughts when they're sharing around this topic, but as the community goes through, you can see them watch their own opinions and deepen their thoughts and attitudes toward things. And of course, the response quality also stems from how the participants are being briefed on the expectations around online communities. This is why finding either the appropriate recruiter or just having a good amount of communication with the participants, if you're using, I don't know, a client's database, to really ensure what is expected of the participants in a community setting, really helps to manage those expectations and ensure that they know what they're signing up themselves up for again as well. We've also got a whole host of different task types available on our platform that really allow you to take advantage of a variety of different methodologies that you can run on the platform. So you can really come at a subject from a variety of different angles and different tools that you can use to explore different perspectives. So for example, you might want to use a video task to get them to talk about usage. Maybe you might want to use a collage tool to get brand associations. Maybe you want to use an ideas board to get the participants to think about solutions to barriers or any new ideas. For testing exercises, there's a real advantage of sort of a multi-phase community approach. As I mentioned earlier, you can gather participants' thoughts on a concept or a stim, make some changes to it, and then get them to feedback again a second time once you've updated that. So basically, the variety will make the research more exciting for the participants to take part in, and it'll help encourage full completes, and also it will help uncover deeper insights. So it's not just, discussions or a video task. There's lots of different ways you could come across it. So barrier 3 that we identified. So one of the biggest advantages of online research is the ability to run projects across multiple different markets and across the globe. The feedback that we sometimes receive from our clients are concerns around cultural nuances or debates, whether this works in an online space. There might be some questions around, being able to get close to the data if there's, multi-languages. But there are loads of tools and things that you can put into place to ensure that you can still get that closeness and still be able to kind of have that experience. We've got our platform translated into over 30 languages, as I mentioned before, and we've run a number of large-scale multi-market projects across the globe. So US, Latin America, Africa, Asia, Australia, you name it. I think the only continent that we did not yet have the chance to work with is Antarctica, but we've covered most of them. And technology has come a long way to make running international research possible, more accessible, quicker, and more effective. Of course, with online research, it does rely on participants having access to the internet and a device to work from. So sometimes, thinking about research in certain countries in Africa, you do have to be, mindful of certain markets, maybe, lacking these resources. But as people get more and more familiar with social media, get more comfortable interacting online, and that becoming more of a basic need, it makes online research feel more comfortable, more accessible than ever before. From a researcher perspective, our hub space that you can see here easily keeps you organized, and you can see at a glance all the different markets that you're working on for a project. You can easily manage participants as well as non-participant accounts within each of the different communities, giving the relevant people access to each community as and where needed. So you can have specific recruiters with different access, you can have clients with different access types. So yeah, loads there. You'll also find that our basic notification and invitation templates are also already translated into the relevant language, which of course you can edit if needed, but you've got the basics available to you with any of our platform hires. A big part of injecting that sort of cultural nuance comes from the researchers themselves, of course. The platform and notifications, as I mentioned already, are translated, but we'd always encourage your discussion guides to be translated by moderators in those specific markets to ensure that they reflect the cultural nuances in the text and making sure that they can probe appropriately. It's integral to the research that the participants fully understand the instructions and don't misinterpret anything, which can happen if you're just using, basic machine translations for, say, activity guides. Online communities also allow clients and stakeholders to reach their audiences across the globe. We've had the chance to run, countless of multi-market projects on our platform. In fact, one of the projects that we've run recently has spanned across 8 different markets. What's also incredible is the built-in tools that you can already have on the platform to make it easier to follow along. So that includes our translations for posts and videos. So basically our built-in automatic translations, which are powered by Google, allow you to understand what each customer is saying immediately after they have posted. So underneath each of the responses, you'll have the English translation. This actually works alongside our video transcriptions as well. So you can really follow along the customer videos and immerse yourself in that data. You can also search the video transcriptions for keywords, and you can now edit and cut videos directly on our platform with our new Show Reels tool. So this has come a long way since we needed the sort of human simultaneous translators for each language to follow along and to translate. So in this case, you have that instant access to the translations, whether you're the researcher or whether you're the client to go through it. Of course, we still have the human simultaneous translation option available for those live chats. So our live chats enable you to run any focus groups or interviews. So you can have a simultaneous translator live for that. We've also got our text word clouds, which work alongside our machine translations. So you can get word cloud generated based on the translations within each task. These word clouds can help give you direction around key themes and nuances that are coming out of specific tasks or the community as a whole. And these word clouds also work with video tasks, and we use transcriptions generated for that. Basically, technology has made it easier than ever to immerse yourself into the research, regardless of language, from the get-go. So the final barrier, kind of linked to the previous barrier as well, is around the lack of client closeness to the data. There are concerns that they can feel disconnected from the research. These clients may be used to running, in-person focus groups or interviews, which they can observe and get that firsthand exposure to the data. What many clients don't realize is that it's easier than ever to feel connected to the data. we've got multiple different account types to help them get as close to the data as they need to. We have observer access that, basically allows view-only permissions, which is appropriate for most clients. They can see all the different participant responses as they come in, and they can dip in whenever is most convenient for them. It's also super important, I think, to make the usability of the platform as easy as possible for clients. Quick and painless registration, easy to view and navigate platform are some of the key features to consider. Often it's a new experience for them, and not having an intuitive platform can lead to a clunky or maybe a negative experience for them. You can customize invitation text sent out to clients specifically to create a more tailored experience on our platform. All the live tasks are visible on the main dashboard on our platform, so there's no need to sort of navigate elsewhere. Everything can be found there, so it makes it super easy for clients, again, not familiar with online research, to register, see what's in front of them, click into the tasks. They're able to view all the responses that participants have shared. They can actually at any time scroll over a participant's username to view any preloaded screeners, so they have a better understanding of the customer that is sharing that feedback. If they have any ideas for probes, they can easily message them directly to your designated moderator of the community. Or you can even have clients that want to be a bit more involved. You can grant them permission to be able to probe on participant posts. Obviously, use that with caution. Don't want clients to get too excited and ask participants too many questions, but that is technically possible. As mentioned previously, any uploaded video on our platform will have automatic transcriptions underneath and translations, so they can follow along videos as well as text. Some of the more sophisticated task types will have a summary and more interactive data interfaces to get familiar with the data, making it a little bit more of a fun experience. You also have the ability to restrict access to specific tasks from clients if needed, again, in case there might be a sensitive topic or you'd rather not have them access to that. We've built in also a backroom space, which is only accessible for non-participant accounts. Here, clients, moderators, and researchers can have conversations around the specific project themes coming out of the research. Our live chat tool also allows you to run live focus groups, as I mentioned, and you do have a separate private observer space there where clients can sit in and follow, again, real-time conversations or listen back to previous recordings within the platform. We also believe in getting as many clients involved as you can, so we don't place any limits on the number of non-participant accounts that you have on every community. Your dedicated community project team would be happy to provide you and your clients with helpful training and demo if you feel like your clients would benefit from something like this for being more engaged. So in summary, thinking about the key kind of takeaways, there are basically many ways to tackle different barriers to online research, and a lot of that stems from just learning and knowledge. When questioning robustness, it's all about reassuring around the extensive and ever-growing toolkits that's out there to address a wide range of research needs. The toolkit allows for exciting activity plans for participants to go through, leading to rich data and insight, all from the comfort of their homes. There are amazing tools around translation and transcriptions that makes it easier than ever to understand those non-English markets. And last but not least, client immersion is easier than ever with a wide range of account types that allow them to get as close to the data as possible. So that concludes my presentation for today. Hopefully you've found this informative. I'd be more than happy to take any questions. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Anna. Really, really good. So we have a question from Mike. Mike, did you want me to read it out? If you don't, then unmute yourself. And if not, I will read it out. So Mike has said, in terms of support, what time zones do you cover with humans in close to real time if we have a problem, i.e. not with auto chat or website or help pages?
Yeah, really good question. And this is something that we get asked, obviously, quite a lot. It's important to have access to the relevant team members to get help. So every single project that we have, no matter how big or small, it could be a 2-day platform hire only, we'll always have a community manager as well as a director to oversee that project. So they will be available between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. UK time. We flex our time depending on the project and the markets being covered. So your team will be obviously assigned relevant to the market that they're going to be covering. We don't offer 24-hour support, but we do try and flex our times as much as possible to account for the different time zones. There are also lots of different elements around tech support. So you have the ability to preload your guide, run through the guide as many times as you want as a participant would, to really test each of the task types to make sure it flows well, make sure it's functioning well, to kind of avoid any sort of tech issues. With our live chat as well, you have the ability to test the system and the device before the sessions go live with each participant as well, to try and limit and answer those problems before you go live.
Thank you. We have time for just 1 or 2 more questions. Feel free, everybody, to unmute yourselves if you want to ask a question. And if you don't want to do that, put it in the chat. Obviously, Anna is available. You've got
hi,
her
it's Jeff.
details there.
I've got a
Jeff.
question.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hi. I was trying to type it, and it's much easier to just say it. So, if you're doing a diary, and the idea of it is to be in real time of the occasion, and the key point of the tool and the enablement of the platform is that you can take a video or a picture of that occasion. The problem sometimes is that people can't always do that during the day, and they want to do it the day after to relate. And so they can describe everything about the day, but not take the real-time photograph, say. So what's the approach in that type of circumstance? Do you just make the photo not mandatory, or what do you do? How do you tackle that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Normally how we would tackle that is exactly how you mentioned it. So like, for example, our diary tool, which sounds like it would work really well for this, it doesn't force people to have to upload media to be able to describe what is happening. So it's great if they have that ability to take snap a photo and upload that as they're posting it. But as you said, if they're pressed for time, they aren't able to do that. They can always just type out their thoughts in that moment, instead of being forced to kind of upload a video or an image. So yeah, that would be the best approach for that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Helpful. Been trying to think how to handle that. So
yeah, no, definitely a really good question. Yeah.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
We've got 1 more question, and then we have to close it, unfortunately. But from Paul, you mentioned that you use Google Translate. Can we overwrite that with a human person doing the translation?
Great question. And yes, absolutely. All our transcriptions, all our translations, we do appreciate their machine. They're not perfect at this time, so you have the ability to edit it as much as you want to. So some of our clients, what they'll do is they might have a human translator review the machine translations. A lot easier to make a few edits than just start from scratch. So absolutely, you have the ability to edit those. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so thank you so much, Anna. I will obviously, as usual, circulate this recording to everybody, and it will be on our website. And please do get in touch with Anna if you have any further questions, and hope everybody has a lovely rest of the day. So thank you for coming.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, everyone. Really appreciate your time. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.